Hi, all. I'm here with Anna Backer, one of our tutors here at A-List, and she's here to tell you a little bit about her experience attending Northwestern. Anna, to start, what was your major at Northwestern, and what was it like to study that?
Yeah, so I actually, people always think it's funny that I'm a tutor because I actually majored in theater and we didn't have things, well, we had minors, but we didn't have, how do I explain this? We had minors, but we also had this thing called a module, which was basically like a concentration in a specific field within your major. And so I majored in theater, but I also had modules in music theater choreography and theater management. Yeah, so what it was like to study those things. Basically, what I really liked about Northwestern and something that really drew me to studying at Northwestern was that they really have a holistic approach to theater. A lot of BFA programs where you are basically just doing theater all the time, that's all you focus on, those didn't really appeal to me because going into college, I was like, I think I might want to do theater in a combination with journalism. And so Northwestern kind of offered me that option, but as I got to discover the program more, they allow you to study a lot more than just acting or just technical theater. They really encourage you to study all parts of theater because you might discover something that was really interesting to you. Like I discovered I was really interested in theater management. Um, that being said, I still ended up doing professional theater and acting and dancing a lot in my career. So the other thing that I found that was really great about the theater major at Northwestern was that they really encourage independence and ingenuity as artists. They have the Work Center, which is a really great part of our theater program that does a lot of department-based theater programs, but they also have a really thriving student theater community that puts on all sorts of different productions from a wide range of topics. Like we have a Jewish theater board, we have a theater for young audiences theater board, we have a theater board specifically targeted towards people providing theater for students and people on the autism spectrum. And so it was just really cool to have that exposure to such a wide range of topics and a wide range of different types of theater. And so that was something that I just really took away from studying at Northwestern was you really just got a really wide range of different parts of theater. So yeah.
Amazing. Awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your professors and at Northwestern? Are they accessible? Do you get to form a close relationship with them, or the class is a little bit larger?
Yeah, so what I'll say about that is that it really does kind of depend on the classes you're taking. When I went to Northwestern and I decided I didn't want to do journalism, I thought for a little bit of time that I was going to minor in economics. And so I also took a number of economics and statistics courses, decided I didn't want to minor in economics because why would I want anything practical on my certificate of graduation? But so when I took those classes, what I'll say was really important was if you wanted to, all the professors at Northwestern, I will say, are highly accessible. They have office hours, they adhere to them, and they are really there to help and support you. For the larger lecture types classes that I took for my almost economics minor, I will say that you really did have to make an effort to go to those office hours and forge a connection with your professors. My professors that I had in the theater department, I will say, were really good about making connections with you. My acting professor, Mary Poole, would encourage us all to come to office hours all the time. I had a really phenomenal professor named John Haas, who was, he taught a lot of repertory vocal classes, and he made a really strong connection with all of his students as well. Those smaller classes, it was a lot easier and the teachers were a lot more accessible, but especially in the theater department, they really encourage you to make those connections because that's really what theater is about, is having those connections and knowing the artists you're working with. So very accessible.
Amazing. Great. What about the students at Northwestern? Is there a stereotype of the students? Is that stereotype accurate? How would you describe them?
Yeah, so I think I'm allowed to say this, but the stereotype of Northwestern students is that we work really hard, but we also party really hard. My friends at UChicago who liked to impose their own rivalry upon me always called us North Wasted, which isn't a great stereotype, but what I found as a student at Northwestern was that we definitely are a community of really hard workers and very driven and very stubborn people. But a very small percentage of the campus is really engaged in that party hard kind of culture. And if you don't want to be engaged in that kind of culture, you really don't have to. I personally, I don't drink. I never drank in college. And I was really able to connect to those people who were like me and were like, I don't need to be out partying. I don't need to be doing those things. And so yes, we have a stereotype. Is it true? I would say about 50% of it is true, but really a lot of very hard-working, driven people who don't really feel the need to party hard.
Awesome. Great. That makes a lot of sense. With that said, what type of person should attend Northwestern?
Yeah, so the type of person who should attend Northwestern, I would say, is someone who likes a challenge, is competitive, and has that drive to compete. Because one thing that I don't know I was prepared for when I came to Northwestern is it's a school of people who are very much like me, right? Who are very driven, very stubborn, very competitive, people who work very hard and achieve results. So you have to be prepared to compete in that kind of environment. And one thing that I think is really interesting and is a type of person who should attend Northwestern is, again, someone who's very driven, but also maybe someone who hasn't really had that opportunity to really strive for that thing that they are trying to get and not necessarily achieve it. Because one thing that Northwestern really taught me was that you're going to learn to make your own opportunities, especially in the theater department. You learn to make your own opportunities, you learn to make adjustments and changes as you go. And so driven, competitive, smart, but also willing and ready to fail.
Awesome. That's great. Is there anything that you wish someone had told you before you attended Northwestern?
I think one of the things that I wish someone had told me before attending is that you really are going to have to fight for everything that you get out of your college experience. But the things that you get out of your college experience, especially at Northwestern, are going to be the things that help you succeed in the real world. Going into the theater program, Northwestern is one of the rare theater programs in the country. Well, I wouldn't say it's a rare in the country. It's rare of the top ranking theater programs in the country in that it doesn't require an audition. And so it allows actors, it allows tech people, it allows musical theater people to all come join this program. And then you can audition for the musical theater program. And so as a student there, I auditioned the first year, I didn't get it. I auditioned again the second year, I didn't get it. And I was like, you know what? I still want to get this certificate. So I'm just going to take all the classes and they will have to give it to me. And that's exactly what I did. So learning to fight like that is something that I don't know that a lot of people get in other programs, but learning that drive is something that really has helped me succeed in the real world. So I wish someone had told me that I would have to fight and struggle that much in college, but again, it's something that I'm really grateful for.
That's great advice for any school. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that you really brag about when you're telling, people who might not know anything about Northwestern, you're telling them about the school? What would you brag about?
Yeah. What I brag about? I think what I would brag about most is just the experience that I had with a really great organization at Northwestern called Tonic Tap. It's really basically what it is. It's an organization of about, I'd say anywhere between 10 to 15 really talented tap dancers from across the country who all just come together and create. And I think it's something that not a lot of schools have. And we always had the opportunity to put up multiple shows per year. And I think that's something that you just don't get to see everywhere in the country at all schools. So really love that experience.
Awesome. If you could change anything or improve anything about Northwestern, what might it be?
I could change or improve one thing. Yeah, I do know what I would change. One thing that I think really suffers, like I mentioned, I said before, I was part of Tonic Tap, and I also had this music theater choreography module. Again, one of those minors that I almost got but didn't get was a dance minor. I think that's the theme of this interview is Anna has a lot of minors she almost had, but as an almost dance minor, I spent a lot of time in the dance program and the dance facilities. So I think the one thing I would want to improve is allotting more funds towards creating better facilities for the dancers and creating more facilities for the dancers. And also possibly the idea of having like a dance specializing physical therapist on site for the dancers at Northwestern, because they are really great dancers and they deserve more than the school offers them.
Awesome. Great. How about kind of just like the visual of what it would be like to attend Northwestern for students who can't get to campus? What does it look like? What is the surrounding area like?
Yeah, absolutely. So Northwestern basically is a very vertical campus. It starts down around Sheridan Road and continues up until, oh my goodness, what's it called? Noise. Wow, I haven't been to campus in a while. But yeah, so it goes up the lakefront of Lake Michigan, which is really gorgeous. It's really nice to be able to walk just from South to North Campus or North to South Campus and walk along the lake. I will say it gets really cold in the winter because of that lake, but you know, that's a thing to know. Yeah, and parts of the campus are very old school. Like people like to say that our library, Deering Library, looks like Hogwarts, but I mean, every campus says that. And yeah, I mean, parts of it are very old school, parts of it are relatively modern. The downtown area of Evanston is really just a wonderful place to go and hang out with friends. A lot of students live on campus, some students live off campus in apartments in the surrounding area. All those apartments are very readily accessible to campus. And I have to say, one of the great things about going to Northwestern is the downtown food scene. It's really just wonderful. There's all different kinds of life, all different kinds of cuisine. Sadly, the fixture Andy's Custard just recently got closed, but there will definitely be other great things for Northwestern students to enjoy in the future.
Awesome. Speaking about enjoyment, what did you do for fun on campus or off campus for that matter?
Yeah, absolutely. So on campus, I was involved in a number of extracurricular organizations. I dabbled in a couple of the different theater boards that I mentioned earlier. My heaviest involvement at Northwestern was with the organization Tonic Tap. I made some of my greatest friends there and friends who I continue to work with and collaborate with to this day, both as an artist and as a working professional. Off campus, like I said earlier, I kind of decided that I wanted to forge my own path as a theater maker. And so I started working with a couple of local companies in the area. I worked with Music Theater Works. I worked with them a lot. I really enjoyed that relationship. I also worked with Night Blue Theater. Where else did I work? Grab Productions, a couple of different Chicago-based theaters. So very involved both on and off campus.
Excellent. Great. All right, last question. Do you have any advice for any high school students who are interested in applying to Northwestern?
Oh, goodness. Any advice? I would just say, you know, whenever you're writing your application, whether it's now or in the fall, I hope it's now because you've got time. I would say just really be honest about who you are as yourself. Talk about something that is really close to your heart. And, you know, just know that Northwestern is a very competitive environment. And if you do want to apply to the school, be prepared for that. But also be prepared because there's going to be a lot of great friends and a lot of really great people that you're going to meet as a result of this experience.
Awesome. This has been great, Anna. Thank you so much for your time. I know that students are going to learn a lot from your experience at Northwestern. And students, if you have questions, please feel free to comment in the comment box below and ask us your questions. Great. Bye, Anna. Take care.
Bye.